We're live. We're live. Welcome to Inner Healing and Transformation Summit. This is day 3. Is it day 3? Yes, day 3. And we are talking authenticity, which is the first step towards inner healing. And our teacher for the day is Hannah Lecha, who is here with me. Welcome, Hannah.
Thank you, Joy, for this opportunity to be here with you today.
Yeah, we're really excited because the topic for today is so important to healing, so important to really living a fulfilling life, an empowering life. So I want us to jump in already and begin this with your story of gaining back to authenticity.
Yeah, okay. I think before we really jump into authenticity, Joy, because this is such a big word and is really commonly used across media, across board, is to maybe just align the listeners to, so that everyone can see themselves in it. Because if you look, authenticity is actually a noun. It's gonna lead you to being authentic. And then you say, okay, what is authentic? Authentic is being real. And being real is being true. So I want everyone who's listening to look at authenticity as being true. But the question is being true to who? It's actually being true to yourself first, before you want true to other people and what they are saying. So I want us to look at authenticity as being true to yourself, Yeah. So you want to appease other people and be truthful to them, which is also, it's okay to be truthful to other people, but it has to start with you being true to yourself. So that is how I want us to really look into that this is my truth, because it is who I am at core, because I am the one who has experienced this truth. No one has experienced it better than me, and who knows best about it than me, person who experienced it.
Definitely, we will always start there, because I think it's an important conversation, being true to yourself. It's not something that, especially as African women. So that's why I wanted us to start this conversation first with you, Hannah, as someone who had to do the journey of arriving to your own authentic self, and then we're gonna break it down. But after hearing your journey, how you came to be the Hannah of today.
Okay, thank you very much for that opportunity. And when I say truth is different for everyone else. Like for me, I would say I grew up as someone who is an extrovert, someone who was free to express themselves. And there was such a lot of opposition when I was growing up, mostly from my parents and my surroundings. I've always been told I talk too much, I'm insulting people. I've always been told to keep quiet from a very, very early age. And what's different for me, other than other people who shut in and shied away from speaking what they wanted, I defied that. I always found my way of saying what I wanted to say and doing what I wanted to do from a very, very early age, as far as I can remember. So that was kind of the life that I've been living from a very early age. I think I lost it when I got to university, because secondary school, high school, primary, it was okay. I could still find my way around, and I stood my ground. But when I got to university, back then we had a system where if you did very well, government was in a mission to recruit people into the science field, So if you excelled and you did very well at high school, you were just channeled into the pure sciences. So you would go for the first intake of Setšhaba. And then from that first intake, you then go to university, do PESC, which was pre-entry science course, and then you enroll into a BSc degree of your choice, and also depending on your academic, your results. So you'll be channeled either way, but in the science field. So just like most of people at my age, at my time, I found myself being channeled into BSc. I went through it, I did PESC, and then I did my first degree. I graduated with a BSc in ecology in 1997. So then the University of Ghana recruited me right away as a staff development fellow. That means that I worked for that period before they could send me to now specialize. And I didn't work for a very long time. I was employed in February, and by September, I was due to go for my master's. So I went to do my master's in Canada in botany. I took 2 years. I did very, very well. And I came back in 2000 to come back and teach. And immediately when I arrived in August, that was when I started, I graduated in August, so I started working in August. That same month, that's when I had a rude awakening. I was invited to a business meeting. And mind you, I was just that science student. If you have family members who are very focused science students, where all you did was science and nothing else. So I was just like that. But then that day, when I was invited to a business meeting, I said, okay, let me give it a try. So I went to that business meeting, only to find that it was an Amway presentation. And I listened to the presentation and I joined Amway right away. But interestingly, I was not into building the Amway business. My interest was in reading the literature. Amway is one of the good personal development literature in place. So I was just reading, I read the books, And for me, that is when I had that epiphany that, okay, I don't think I want to become a doctor. I don't think I want to have a PhD and pursue this academic career. And mind you, that time, that is when being an academic, having a PhD, working at university was like some sort of prestige, And when I said that I didn't want to continue with it anymore, people thought I was crazy. Everyone thought there was something that was wrong with me. They came up with other options and said, okay, maybe why can't you take a sabbatical leave? Why can't you take an unpaid leave? There was so much fear around me of me quitting at university that I had to really stand my ground. And because I was so used to standing my truth, the only person that I shared what I wanted to do was my husband, because he was kind of part of my journey. Because every time when I got awakened, I got an aha moment, I would share it with him. So I told him that, no, I don't think this is the path that I want to pursue. I want to quit. What are you going to do? I don't know what I'm going to do, but I know that I don't want to be here. So that's how it started for me. And my husband is an attorney. By that time, he worked for another law firm in Gaborone. And I said, you know what, I think both of us can just quit, because you can do far much better in your own law firm than waiting for someone else. The truth is that I had read Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And when he talked about people who are waiting for others to pay their children's school fees while they struggle to pay their own. So I could see us in that. By then, my stepson was in primary school. So my husband and the mother were paying their school fees, that one paying half, that one paying half. And I was looking at it that if you could open your own law firm, you could be paying your son's school fees, without struggling. So really that I shared that vision with him, and eventually he bought into it. So for me, quitting the job without knowing what I was going to do was something that I felt comfortable with. But everyone around me, my mentors at university, my friends, everyone thought I was just crazy, because I didn't even have a plan of what I was going to do when I quit. But I knew that I didn't want to continue, because if I were to continue, like that year, the university wanted me to go and do my PhD. And doing a PhD meant going away for 4 or 5 years. And then from there, it also meant when I come back, I would have to work for another 5 years to repay the bond that they had given me. So it would be another 10 years back in an academic environment. So it would be like 10 years back in an environment where I felt like I don't belong here. I don't want to be stuck in a lab dissecting plants, for the rest of my life. So I really realized that, no, I think the DR behind my name can rather go away while I gain my own inner peace of really going out there on a quest to find what is it that I really want to pursue. Because I realized that I am a people person, I know teaching does it, but when you come to a university setup, you don't actually start focusing more on doing the research, writing, and all the other. The teaching is not like you, where you are more into contact with the people that you want to spend the time with. You don't actually choose who you want to spend the time with when you are a teacher. They just bring the intake and you have to help them. So really for me, that was the beginning of my life where I have to really spend, find my truth and spend it amidst a lot of opposition, amidst a lot of criticism and all sorts of advice coming from people who have never quit their jobs. So, which is what we do most of the time. We would know what our inner knowing is telling us, but we would rather trust someone who has not even done what you want to do, and they would want to give you that advice and want you to abide by it. So, really, for me, I would say that is my journey from where I was to what led me to who I am right now. So, to cut the long story short, I quit at University of Ghana in 2003. After working for only 5 years, and I went to Maun. My husband quit much earlier, so after we spoke, because I had to pay the 2-year bond, pay the University of Botswana, and I didn't have the money to pay them. So the only way was to work for those 2 years. But I knew the moment that I came back from Canada in 2000 August that I was going to quit. But then I decided that, okay, I have to work for the bond. And my husband quit his job December of that year. So in 2000 to open his law firm, which is now Lecha and Associates in Maun. And when my bond elapsed in 2003, that's when I quit and went to Maun to join him. And like I mentioned, I would be lying. I didn't have a plan. Initially, because I knew teaching, I wanted to do a school. I had a plot, I thought I would do a school. But I never ended up doing that school at a primary level. So I went into business. I ran a laundromat. I was inspired by the laundromat in Canada, only to find that our market was still very young to receive laundry when you could hire someone to wash your clothes. And then I started selling airtime. I have a very interesting life. When Zanella started, one of our family friends had a subcontract with Mascom. So he gave me a dealership to sell bulk airtime. And I started doing it while I was with UB. So I was selling to people who were in Maui, in Boston, where I was sending with the phone and they were depositing the money. And then when I went to Maui, I took all that income that I had, the cash that I had from the Zanella, and I rented a sorghum milling plant. I made sorghum. For about 3 years until there was shortage of sorghum, and I had to shut down. And that is when I went into retail, which I've done for the past 11 years. But I realized that the retail was just like teaching. It kept me stuck. You get stuck behind the till in the shop. When you just leave, everything breaks down. The employees, they don't do what they're supposed to do. The customers, some are stealing. So I was tied down again, and that's when I realized that I don't think this is what I want to do. So that's when I started gradually, moving into coaching, continue on the development, the personal development route, because ever since then I have been a student of personal development from 2003 until now. So, but eventually I said, okay, I can also develop myself and help other people develop themselves. And that's how I got into coaching. And for me, it really worked because I was sexually abused when I was 12 years old. And it was very difficult because when you are abused by a relative and you try to tell people that you've been abused, no one believes you. Actually, they don't even want to hear you talking about it because it's kind of embarrassing and all of those. So I lived with that for a very long time. Like I told my best friend, just part a little bit of the story. I said I was almost raped. I couldn't come to terms of telling her that I had actually been raped. So I lived with that through high school. I lived with it through university. But after I got married, it really affected my intimacy somehow, because my husband could feel that I think there's something that's wrong. you know, what's wrong with you? You are just too rigid. You are just closed in. What's happening? So that's when I found the courage to actually tell him that, you know what, you know, sometimes this is bringing back very bad memories because I've been raped when I was 12 years old. So that was the first step to really being able to tell someone the truth. And he didn't judge me, so he really wanted to help me to get out of it. So it was baby steps, but it wasn't until in 2015 when I was attending a personal development workshop it was in Las Vegas. And we had an exercise that we were doing where that came up. And as it came up, Jack Canfield was the one facilitating. That is the author of the Success Principles. And he actually coached me through a room of like 500 people to move through that. And really what he just shared with me was, you know what, Hannah, that happened many years ago. And because you are still holding on to it, it continues to eat you up. It continues to bother you and stress you, but as if it is happening every single day. So the executive that he used, he said, you know what, you were raped once when you were 12 years old, but now you are repeatedly raping yourself every day that you are thinking about that and that you are talking negatively about. So until you accept that it has happened, it was in the past and you couldn't do much about it, and let go, it's going to haunt you for the rest of your life. So really for me, that was the breakthrough that actually came, that I was able to share that with 500 other people that I didn't actually know. And when I came back from the US, what I did was, okay, I'm just gonna gradually move out of this. So I said I was gonna tell my daughter. I have a daughter who's now, she's now 16, turning 17. I think she was 12 back then when I came back. So I told my daughter. I've got another niece who's very close to me. I also told my niece. So I kept on now increasing the circle of people that I was telling. Because if I was to go public with it, I needed to have told people who are closer to me so that they don't get a shock of their life when they hear it in the media or read about it somewhere. But I told them and brought them to the level where I was, that as painful as it was, life has to go on, you know, and I'm still intact. So a lot of what's happening is really in my mind, but nothing is really physically happening to me about it. So that is when really that hit me, that it's very important to be able to come to terms with your truth, regardless of how good or how bad it is, and regardless of how other people are going to perceive you or look at you when they get to know that truth. And you know, to tell the truth, most people don't even react the way we think they would if they know the truth. Most of the time we think they're going to judge us, they're going to laugh at us, they're going to look at us differently. But, you know, for most of the people who are close to you, they show a lot of compassion, you know, they really support you through that whole process until you are on your feet to really own that truth and stand on the truth, knowing that this is what happened to me, but it doesn't define me. It doesn't define my future. It doesn't determine how far I can go in life. It doesn't, you know, really, it doesn't define you, and it doesn't determine the level of success that you can have, as long as you are able to acknowledge it and move on.
Wow, such a profound journey that you've had. I have so many thoughts. I'm gonna try to bring all of them together. But you know, thank you so much for really breaking down how the journey of healing and being authentic and telling your truth is not as straightforward as we might imagine it to be. And how awareness is a journey also. You keep learning new things about yourself. You keep learning ways where you are not in alignment with your truth. And the more you peel your story, the more you peel your experiences, the more you can then come to the space that you are currently in. And that requires you to do this hard thing that you just shared of meeting your traumas, meeting your pain, as they are, but you meet them with compassion, but also with the intention of releasing them so that they do not hold you as much as they used to, while you were not really looking at them, but they were always really affecting you on a daily basis. I think that's the most profound part of this journey of authenticity is you have to meet the darkness. You know, you have to meet
Yes.
the painful memories, the painful stories, so that you can truly heal, because otherwise it will not be integrated properly in your journey. So I'm really
Yes.
grateful for that story of us seeing you in 2003 realizing I'm not in alignment, something is not right here, and then going through many journeys of trying to discover what the right thing is for you, for your soul, and then having to first go back to the past of the painful experience that happened to you and releasing it. And as soon as you released it, then you came to what actually, from what I'm hearing from you, was always your destiny. From it seems you've always wanted to be a teacher, you know, always wanted to share, but it became in the story, it became probable the moment you learned to first teach yourself to be okay with yourself and your experiences. Then that's when you could share with other people. That's what I got from this story.
That is true. That's true.
Mm. So I know for me, from working with clients, really meeting your painful stories and painful memories is something that we want to run away from. You know, first of all, we don't know how to do that. You know how you were sharing with us how you experience yours in front of 500 people. I want us to break that to how people can do this thing for themselves, even if they're just by themselves, even if they're doing it with their family members. How do you do that process of meeting your pain?
Yeah, the process of meeting your pain starts with you being able to eliminate the fear that our truth is something that we don't want to see or want to experience. Because I think this is where we start that, okay, it's my truth, but I don't want people knowing it. What will they say, if they hear it? So the first step is really to eliminate that fear. And once you have eliminated the fear, then you have to take the second step is to recognize that you don't have to conform. You don't have to conform. You don't have to please everyone, with your story, because your story is your story. Because that's the second place where people stop, is where they want to conform or they want someone to believe in their story. Like it's very obvious. Sometimes when we share our story, people say, they are lying. He's lying. They want attention. So those are things that you are going to come across when you want to come out. But you have to really recognize that there is no need to conform. There is no need to get someone's approval on your story, because you know the truth. It is yours. And then the first step is to trust your inner knowing, to trust your intuition that you are ready to take this out. You are ready to let go, And then once you've done that, then the first step is to really take it out, tell it, share it. Normally when people come to me, clients come to me who have been abused, for example, the first thing that I tell them is go and tell someone who's close to you. Because it's easier for them to tell me because I don't know them. But I say, go and tell someone who is very close to you, someone that you live with. Because that is the first step for you to be able to take it out to someone and be able to experience how they are going to show up when you tell them, because that's the biggest fear. So you want to tell someone. So I normally recommend that tell someone, if you are married, tell your spouse. And then after you tell your spouse, if you've got kids, tell your kids. And you know why I advise that people tell people who are closer to them? Because there's a certain way that you behave when you are wounded, when you are hurting. It's like you spread that hurt within the most immediate who are around you. So they experience that something is not right, but they can't put a hand to it. They can't say what's happening with you, but they can feel it. It's either you are angry, it's either you become moody, it's either you become bitter, or it's either you kind of isolate yourself. So they could feel it. So that the first people have to know, so that they can at least forgive you for what has been going through, and also offer you that compassion of saying, we understand, we live with you, we know it's painful, we've seen you going through the pain. So it really has to start there at home. And then depending on the level of how comfortable you are, then you can take it to other people. I say that take it to other people because sometimes some people know our stories because especially normally involves two people, or if it's pain, it involves other people. And when you don't own it to that level of being comfortable, some people can share your story without your consent. And when you have not healed, when you have not embraced your story, your truth, it's going to hurt you when you hear it being talked about in corridors. But if you have embraced the truth, you don't care who's talking about it. Because they're not gossiping, actually, they are telling you a story. Mm-hmm. It's true. It's the truth, but you have to be ready to really handle that and in a position that you are able to let go. And then I would say the next stage is to really consider all the resistance that is going to come from outside when you stand on your truth. So it's going to be the judgment, people judging you. Oh, we thought he was perfect. Oh, we thought this. Sometimes when people are outside, they look at you and see this perfect being, perfect according to their definition, perfect according to the way they want you to show up. And when they realize that behind that perfect person that they are seeing, there are these weaknesses, there are these dark areas, it kind of affects their perception, it affects the way they've been looking at you. So depending on their level of maturity and their level of awareness, they may judge you, they may start treating you differently, or they may embrace you and become compassionate, and empathize with what you have gone through and move on. So you want to be aware of that it's not going to be all roses. Not everyone is going to be very supportive of you owning your truth, owning your weaknesses, owning your shortcomings. But the important thing is that is where your healing is going to come from. It's going to give you that inner peace of really walking out there, with confidence, knowing that this is a part of me, this is what happened to me, but it does not define who I am. My identity is not rooted in what happened to me. My identity is not rooted in my background. My identity is not rooted in my experience, but it's rooted in who I am at core.
Yeah, I think if you also start to realize that in the circumstances where people judge you, where people have something negative to say about your experiences, it's more about them than about you. People need us to present the idea of perfect human beings so that it can it's an aspiration thing. They would want you to do that so that they can aspire for that, so that they don't meet themselves, they don't meet their own darknesses. So when you tell your truth, then you share this dark aspect of being human, it is terrifying because it requires them to also do the same. And we really thrive on lying to ourselves about our true selves, about our true experiences. So when someone is being authentic and sharing their true experiences, it's terrifying because it means you are asking them to do the same, like giving them permission to also be honest with themselves, and sometimes they don't want that permission. So the reaction is to bring all this judgment and say whatever it is that they want to say about yourself. But it's really about them and their own fear of that true self, So for me, I share this with my clients that every other thing is always feedback. When someone is seeing something, they're always just either looking and seeing themselves in that thing, and either rejecting or accepting that thing, but it's all about them. So I think that's really important to put out when you're on the journey of owning your truth, owning your experiences, to know anything that happens outside that is not about you.
Yeah, that is very true. I have a soft spot for working with young people And when I go to schools and talk to students and young people, I always tell them that you find that the students who have the stronger character, are being victimized by the ones with a lower character. So it's just a simple example. You would ask a question like in a group of maybe 500 students, and only one student will have the courage to raise their hand and stand up and respond. And then all the rest who are sitting down will laugh at that student who stood up. So they didn't have the courage to just stand up and speak, but that person who is making an effort to speak, stand up and speak, they want to intimidate them to quickly sit down and join them on their chairs. So I told them that it's not about you most of the time. It's about that person who does not have the courage to stand up and do what you are doing, who wants you to just sit down and join them so that you are at the same level with them.
Yeah. One of the most chronic and painful emotion, I don't even know if I should call it emotion, but it's pervasive in every space, is shame. I think we often exist shame-based society, shame-based community. We like shaming other people for standing out, for being themselves, for the experiences that they went through, because we want to keep people's identity with their own experiences, as if you are this because of that this happened to you. And so we use this shame energy, and it's what makes people run away from being their true self, because we do not like feeling shame, but our society thrives on shaming us for being who we are, for going through the experiences that we go through, and it's something that we really need to break down, because for me, I know that my journey to my authentic self took such a long time, and it's still ongoing, but it took me a long time to say be doing this summit, because I was always afraid of what will people think. And my fear is whatever it is that they're going to think will bring shame to me. It'll be so shameful that they know this girl is an ancestral healer, And I had to meet this fear of shame and had to release it from my heart, and really understand that it's really about me and my own perception of what I'm doing, what my purpose is, what makes my heart, blissful and excited. But I know the journey of shame is also very, very difficult. How do you mitigate or explore this with your clients?
Pardon?
I'll say, I wanted to know if you help people release shame so that they can step into that authentic self.
Yes, I think shame is one of them. It's one of the things that stops us. And then I think even the way that we talk about ourselves. But for a lot of people, it's actually that shame. I wouldn't call it shame. I think it is the fear of what people will say more than anything else. It's the shame of what people it is the fear of what will people say if it doesn't work. Normally that's what I'm thinking. If it doesn't work, what are people going to say? So for me, really, I help people to be able to become comfortable in their own skin and to become so used to listening to their inner voice that they amplify their inner voice and actually reduce the outer world. So most of my circles, what we do is really people get into doing rituals that will help them to really quieten their minds so that they can tap into that inner knowing that they have and silence the whole external world that is shouting, outside, say, don't do it, you are not good enough, And it's only when they are able to really quieten their mind to that level of tapping into their inner knowing, into their core, and then having the confidence to own up to what is coming up for them and what is real for them. That is when they are step out. That is why sometimes I cannot teach someone to become self-confident. Self-confidence is what we express, but it's actually after a series of going through a lot of emotions and letting go, shedding off so many layers. That's when you can stand up and be able to walk tall, regardless of what happened to you, regardless of what people will say. It's not something that you go to school and snap and say, no, I want to learn how to become self-confident. It's a process that goes with inner healing and really owning up to your truth, so that you are so comfortable in your skin that even if people make fun of you, it won't break you. You will acknowledge that they are making fun of you and still move on.
Yeah, because it's also not about you.
I think right?
I was saying also because when they're making fun of you, it's not about you, it's about them.
Yeah, it's not about you, it's about them. It's about them, it's not about you. It's really about them. So it's really a process, which is why most of the time I do events like workshops, but I always say if you want transformation, if you want inner healing, you need to engage in a process. And that is how coaching is. Coaching is a process. It's not an event. It's not something that you do once, go home and say, I am fine, I am healed, I am transformed. It is a process because you have to peel off those layers, layer by layer, layer by layer, until you reach into the core. Like in one of my programs, there is an example of like a nautical shell, where there is a shell, and inside that shell there is a smaller dot inside. So that is where your authentic self or your core is. But then there are these many layers around it. So you need to peel layer by layer until you reach that. That authentic inner you, because that is what's going to hold you. That's what's going to support you when everything else in your life breaks down. So you should always be able to reconnect. So really, I think where we are right now as women is we're at a place where we need to reconnect with our truth, because truth is energy. Truth is energy. So we need to find a way of reconnecting with our truth, and it means unlearning some of the things that we have learned, during the course of our lives, and then relearning new things that will support the truth that we are honoring. Because otherwise, if you are not learning some of those things, they are going to contradict, and that is when you are going to get out of alignment. And I always say that whenever you find yourself out of alignment with your truth, that is when illness comes in. And when you talk about inner healing, it's not just about being sad. When you are out of alignment, there is a way that your body responds to that. And that's when you get becoming sick. Your immune system drops. You start getting fever. You start getting these injuries that you don't know where they are coming from. So that's why I'm saying truth is energy. So once you are out of alignment and you are not standing in your truth, then other things set in. So like those illnesses, flu, a lot of things that you don't know where they are actually coming from. So that is when you start owning your truth, the healing that comes is not only internal, it's external. So you heal your inner self, you heal your outer body, you heal the relationships or people that are around you. It improves if you are working, you have a job, it improves your relationship with other people in the workplace. If you are running your business, it will improve your relationship with your employees. So it really affects like everything that's around you. You can't pinpoint and say it only affects you as a person. It affects everyone who is around you. It affects everyone who's interacting with you, whether it's at work, whether it's at home, whether it's a church. So wherever you are, it really expands and goes out like that. That's what the truth is it's energy. So if you are out of alignment, it is bound to cause a lot of things to happen in your life.
I love that you brought this to how being misaligned can lead to illnesses. And I'm going to take the word disease to really break it down for people to understand. Even the word disease, it really means dis-ease, that your body is uneasy about something. Not even your body, your energetic field is uneasy about something. Louise Hay talked about it in her book, You Can Heal Your Life. back in the 90s, when she was really pinpointing that diseases are really spiritual manifestations of imbalances in your life, imbalances with the different aspects of your life. And really, it's manifestation of your emotional wound, your emotional imbalances, as I was saying, And I've always been uh, deeply hurt, and I always wondered, why is it that the African community, for example, we have, say, HIV and AIDS in such a huge percentage as compared to the rest of the world. And I started to think of this as, if disease is really a spiritual manifestation of imbalances in ourselves, in our lives, in our energies, what does this say about the fact that we have this disease in our community? Where are we out of alignment? Where are we not in balance? And I think that there's something to be looked into. And to start thinking of it, like I said, that it's really about truth, and understanding that truth is energy. And that the more you're not in alignment with your truth, the more your body will tell you. The universe doesn't lie. It's a scientific, mathematical, innovative vortex, and it's always giving you feedback. You have the headache, but it's not the
Yeah.
headache. It's a manifestation of stress, the manifestation of something out of balance. So I love this conversation. I love it so much because I'm so interested in wounds and how they manifest in our lives in a way that we can heal.
Yeah. And then
Mm,
I also wanted us to thresh this out, because I used an example of my rape story. I wanted listening to this to realize that we are not only talking about healing tangible incidences like rape that happen, but are looking at your truth to yourself in terms of whether it's a mistake that you have done, that you are not still in a position to come to terms with it and embrace it. So it can be so many things, things that you have done, that you have, even if you have made an abortion somewhere back in life, it's you need to look at it. Okay, how did I arrive there? I made that abortion. What were my reasons for doing it? And find solace in saying, okay, this was my reason, and I didn't have the child, but I had this that I wanted instead. And so you make peace with it. But if it's something that's on haunting you and haunting you, it's gonna eat you. It's gonna make you unease. So it's going to make that disease. So I used my example because this is my life about the rape and how it's happening. But it actually, this level of inner peace manifests in so many ways in our lives. So if you are listening to this, watching this, I want you to pick that thing in your life that gave you that made you unease, that blocked your inner peace. What is it that you have done? What is it that happened to you that made you shut down, that made you looked at yourself in a different way, that brought shame to yourself? So those are the things we are talking about when we say truth, and when you talk about inner healing. So what is your truth? Depending on what happened to you, depending on what you have done in your past, or what you are currently doing that is not serving you right. So don't think that we're just talking about extreme cases like rape, but no, it's everyday things that we do that take us out of alignment, that end up affecting our well-being in general.
yeah. And when we really take it to beyond this, when you understand that one, illnesses, disease is really how we have stored shame in ourselves, in our lives, right? And then healing is releasing that shame. And then also taking our painful experiences and knowing that at a deeper spiritual level, your soul knows and needed this experience, and only your soul can understand why it needed that painful experience. But that because your soul chose this experience and there's meaning to it, to your soul, even if your conscious mind right now struggles to understand the pain, why you had to go through that, at a higher level, at a spiritual level, all is well, all is going as it's meant to go. You know, your soul is in an evolutionary journey of either remembering itself, remembering truth, remembering what it's like to create. Whatever it is that we are doing as souls, as spiritual beings having human experiences, if you look at your life, if you look at all these painful experiences that you went through, say you, Hannah, in understanding your rape experience as much bigger than just this hurt and this wound, but something that your soul chose and your soul needed to arrive to Hannah, the coach of today. You know, I think I have found empowerment in looking at my painful stories in that way. That beyond my conscious mind, my soul knows why I needed this, and that's a gift. That's the gift of my life. And when I did that, I could become more authentic. I could release that shame because there is nothing shameful about this experience, an experience outside me, you know, but it's not me.
Yeah, that is true. And then I think for the past 5 years that I've been coaching professionally, what I realized that we need, like we were saying in our country, and maybe I think in Africa in general, is because of this shame culture that people are not free to own their truth. People are not free to stand in their truth and become authentic. And even people who want to really come to their truth, they don't know how to do it. They are afraid. So what we need is we need containers. We need containers of people who are not judgmental, you know, people who are willing to support each other and give them that support while they face their truth, who are willing to walk with them on their journey to their truth. And this is what I find happening in my retreats. I always tell people that you need a conducive environment to actually come out. You need a supportive environment. Like I could do it in Las Vegas, you know, the way all those 500 people who were holding that healing container for me. And there was someone who processed me. But if you are just on your own and you are just spinning all these things that happen to you in your head, it's exhausting. It's mentally exhausting. So that's why it's important to find a group of people, to find a support system that will hold you by the hand as you face your truth, embrace it, and start living it. And this is what happens in my retreats and my circles, where I find that people are faithful. You don't even ask them as a coach what happened, but people come to that place of, you know, inner knowing that it's time for me to let go. It's time for me to take this thing that has been eating me out. So I reckon that if we could have more of those containers, more of those environments, a lot of women in Africa could heal. A lot of what we are suffering from in Africa, some of this is not even what we chose, is the conditioning from our system, conditioning from our parents, conditioning from the head from our marriages, the head from our relationships. So we are harboring so much. We are harboring so much pain that came to us, some by default, that came to some when we were still very young, when we could not stand up for ourselves, and we had to stand it for a very, very long time. So I think we really need this uprising, you know, this rising that we are talking about of really inner healing. I think yesterday I made a post when I was marketing this that, you know, you can use anointing oil, you can fast, you can pray, you can go see the prophet, you can go see a doctor, go see a psychologist, go see a counselor, you know, all of these things you can go and do it. But until you come to terms with your inner truth, you're not going to get anything. Because you go, you tell them my head is achy, they're going to give you grandpa. What you need is not grandpa. What you need is to take out that disease that's inside. And sometimes it's medication. If you are able to take it out, boom, you are healed.
Yeah.
You know, boom. Some people just heal not even by getting medication, just by talking about what happened to them. finding the space to talk about it. Once you have talked to them, they find that it's not bothering them anymore. They were complaining of migraine, pain. They realized that everything is gone because there was nothing was inside here. It wasn't even on the leg or on the hip. It was upstairs.
I do sacred gatherings, women's circles, and just I've seen the power of 10 women or so coming together, sitting and being a container for each other to share our truth, to share our pain, to release. The last women's circle we had, it was about mourning, and we wanted to mourn for all that we have lost in the years. And there was something so profound. We were not doing anything. Everyone was just given space to share their stories and what they needed to do. But the amount of support that was there, the way that everyone resonated with each other's story, the way that we cried with every person who was sharing there, it was this deep release from our bodies. We were just really doing something that one is actually ancient. Women have always come together to sit and share their stories, right? But we don't do enough of this with our busy life, with our social media. And when we do, you know, we pause a bit and we do experiences like this summit, because I can share right now, I was sharing with my assistant that this is V3, but the amount of healing I am finding myself is so profound that my body is actually already reacting, because I feel like I've been downloading, because I'm just talking about this, but I see the shift within myself from just speaking. What kind of shift would you receive if you were, say, working one-on-one with a coach, one-on-one with a healer, and doing it not just like one time, but continuously? And as someone, yes, I have been doing healing work also for 5 years now, or 6 years now, and I can say the profound healing that you find by committing to healing yourself every single day is something that is so profound, so revolutionary, that we need to be doing more of this. This needs to become mainstream. It should be part of our curriculum, really, that there's a class for healing from the moment you go to school until forever. And it's such a painful truth to realize that we are not living in countries that are prioritizing healing at this level. Yet the amount of oppression and amount of pain and wounding we experience as African people is so out of this world, you know? It's what drives me.
Yeah, but I was laughing when you say that it should be taught, but just the fact that you are just saying healing, some people, it repels them. It repels them because I think we have been conditioned to hide things. I always say that our culture likes secrets.
Same day.
Our culture likes secrets, and I do a lot of, I talk to people, my clients, about conditioning, that we have been so conditioned that through lies mostly, that we don't know the truth. So we have to really hunt for the truth, because we were raised being told fearful things. We were instead of being encouraged, we were being, we were being scared. Our parents were saying very scary things to us in a way for us to do things that they wanted. So instead of saying encouraging and motivating words, they were saying words that made you very fearful. So we were doing things out of fear and not out of love. Most people are not even ready to share their truth. They're not even ready to confront their truth, because they've been taught to hide all these things that are kind of negative and only show off the positive side in their life. So I want to tell you that I've had any client who came to me saying that they were sick or they were struggling. When I ask them about their life, just tell me about their career, their problems at work, and all of those. So that.
Yeah, we will continue. It just stopped briefly there.
Okay, yeah, I think where I was is that as much as we need to bring inner healing into the classrooms, into our mainstream education system, most of us, I would say us as Africans, as people from Botswana, because I'm here, we are still not aware that we need help in that regard. And even if we are aware, we are still not ready to open up to people about it. So we are still hiding it. And when we go and look for help, we don't think we could be helped in that area. We go looking for help on the things that we think are immediate. Like someone would say, I need help. I want to improve my leadership because I'm not working properly with my team. I am a manager. I am a director at work, but the relationships are not good. My team is complaining. So for me, then I realized that it's not about the leadership skills per se. So let's go to the root issue first. So it could be identity, it could be attitude issues, it could be self-esteem issues, and those are related to things that happened in the past. Those are related to someone's belief system, depending on how they have been conditioned. So when we start peeling these layers in a coaching program that's meant to help them go deep, go within, and really tap into what's going on, they realize that when they start sorting out their identity issues, when they start dealing with their past, their past hurts, whether they've been raped, it's like someone coming out of a cocoon. So they just literally they open up and they'll tell you that now at work everything is going smoothly at work. Before we even do leadership or anything that's work related. Yeah, they should say no, my relationship now at home with my kids, with my family has really changed. So we are not yet aware that holding on to inner hurts, holding on to past experiences that are not serving us is a form of illness that needs to be addressed. The kind of awareness that we need to raise, that's the message that we need to raise. People that this is something that can be addressed, and there are different modalities to actually address them. I think this is.
Yeah, I completely agree with this. I always tell my friends who are trying to understand what I do that you really have to understand that if you haven't really went through healing and you haven't looked at yourself in that I want to go back to my authentic self, you have to come to the possibility that who you are, how you live yourself might not be your truth, that you are conditioned, that everything that you believe to be true might not necessarily be true. And I think like a lot of people are so okay with what they were taught. This is how life is, this is the purpose of life, this is how you can be fulfilled, and they accept it as face value. And what we need to be doing is to start actually questioning if everything we're told about life is really the truth. Especially because right now, as it is, you will not meet, as I could speak for my generation, people of my age. A lot of us are struggling with being fulfilled, being aligned. We're struggling with depression and anxiety. And it's because there's a huge misalignment with the whole collective of human. It's not just an individual thing. Something is off, and we can all feel it. But we want to just keep doing life the old ways. We don't want to consider that because we are human beings and we are always evolving, what might have served our ancestors, what might have served the old generation, might not serve us, and that we can just live our life. It doesn't at all. So I think that people are, one, like you say, unaware that there's something wrong, although energetically they feel it. They just don't know what the problem is, and they look for the wrong solution to the wrong question. So there's a need, definitely a need for us to bring, I was at a mental health symposium last year, and they brought in different specialist experts, mostly psychiatrists, people who are counselors, and they were talking about how our generation was struggling from alcohol abuse, we're struggling from unemployment, and gender inequality and gender-based violence and all these other things. Now I was listening to them for majority of the time, and they were talking and looking for solutions. Like, we need to do more campaigns about the effects of alcohol. We need to talk about gender-based violence. We need to bring men into the table. And I was like, this is great solutions, but we're not even talking about what the problem is. We're just focusing on the symptom. We're not looking at why people are using alcohol in the amount that they're using it in this unhealthy way, according to us. We're not asking what is not working for our people, what is uneasy for our people, what is the illness about, what is not in alignment. We're not asking that. And the sad thing for me was I spoke and I said, you called every other specialist, but you didn't call in the spiritual healer. You didn't call in the person who's going to start speaking at a deeper level about this. And I felt like that room didn't hear what I was saying. I think they were just thinking, no, we just need to change our campaigns. We should do this. We should tell people about alcohol. And I'm just like, that's not the problem. People are using that as a cover for something bigger, deeper. We're not talking about people's traumas. We're not talking about how our families have a lot of painful experiences within them, and we are not resolving them. We are not addressing them in any way. And you guys want this community to be okay. How?
Yeah, I think I share the same sentiment, because like when I was sharing this summit with my community, my email community, when I wrote, I just read what I wrote. I said, for many years, I've always believed that coaching is healing, inner healing to be precise. But many people in our country have been skeptical about it. And many are still skeptical because it is kind of a new modality to us. So we are used to the conservative forms of healing, such as counseling, psychology, psychotherapy, and our maybe church prophecy. So we are not open to things like spiritual healers. We are not open to coaching, such that the decision makers, when they make decisions and when they plan these events, they leave these other people out. But it also comes to awareness, because they are not aware. So they're only operating based on their level of awareness. So what they know is when someone is depressed, someone is not well, they need a counselor, then they need a psychologist, then they need a psychiatrist, then they need a medical doctor. And that's it. Already closed these other modalities out because they are not in their level of awareness. They're not aware of them. So that's why I'm saying that the starting point of every healing and transformation and any change is awareness. Is really being aware. And I always tell people that unless you go within, you are going to go without.
Yeah.
I want to share a story that I've learned over the years as part of coaching, taking responsibility, that there was a man who lost his house keys. And so he lost his house keys, and then he went somewhere in the street along the line, and he was looking for house keys. So someone who passed by saw him search. He said, okay, what are you looking for? He said, no, I'm looking for my keys. So they came and started helping him to search on the ground looking for his keys. And they couldn't find them. And they asked him, are you really sure you lost your keys here? And then he said, no, I didn't lose them here. But why are you looking them here? Because there is light here.
Wow.
So really, this is how we go about in life. Instead of searching where we know we'll find the solution, we'd rather go elsewhere. And we are fearful of going within. We are always for solutions outside of us, and we don't think that the solutions or the problems are within us. So if the problem is within you, it means the solution is also there.
Yeah, really profound.
First you have to admit that the problem is within you, so that then you know that then you have the power to change it. So the solution is going to also be within. But we don't look for the solution within. We are always blaming other people and looking for the solutions outside. So it's gonna need a very long time.
Yeah. I read a book that changed my life, and its basic message to me was the universe does not exist. You are the only one who exists. And it sounded quite profound, but it's really as simple as you are the one who lives in your own universe. Everything in your life, it's all you. Every other person is just a mirror. The experiences are just mirroring back to yourself, and as soon as you can shift your how you live your life to understanding that it's not about other people, it's not about what's happening, it's about you, it's about what's within, that this is the only valid reality that you can show off, because you're the only one who also lives within yourself. You're the only one who knows what stresses you, what empowers you, what disempowers you. So if you're the only one who lives in your universe, then you should be the master of it. I tell people this. You would want to master your own universe, wouldn't you? So that is the shift that people need to start thinking that the inner is the only way of it happening.
Really, the inner is the only way. One of the things that I experience as a coach when I go into, especially in organizations, is instead of them embracing the help that coming, they block it. So they would see you as someone who's coming to expose them. See you as someone who's going to expose them, and they don't want to bring people who are going to expose them. So that is one of the challenges that happens as a coach. So I always tell people that as a coach, I can't afford to want to be loved, because one of the core duties of a coach is to help people to come to their truth, to their own truth. It's not about me when I'm coaching a person, it's about them. So whatever questions I'm asking them, they are meant to help raise their level of awareness so that they can come to terms with their truth. And the truth shall set you free, but first it shall piss you off. So you have to be willing to get pissed off and move beyond being pissed off. But I find that most people don't move that beyond that. So they get so pissed off and want to really block you off completely. So it is those clients who are willing to face their truth, get pissed off, and then step back and say, wow, it really pissed me off, but this is my truth. Who are willing to go on that being pissed off and start taking action to put things into perspective in their lives. So we really have a long way to go in terms of helping people to come to their truth, because many people are not ready to even see an inch of their truth. So they just want to block it.
Yeah. I was emotional the other day because a friend of mine was saying, Joy, what you are always sharing with me is so profound. And some of my friends, they watch what you do. But, every time you say you're ancestral healer, they don't understand that. So they just block that. Maybe you should not call yourself an ancestral healer. And I told him, but then I will be out of alignment. I will be doing a huge disservice first to myself, my soul, my health in spirits, but also to you as the person who's watching. Because if I cannot own this, and if I'm going to say people are scared of this word and then run away from it, I'm not changing the world in any way. I'm not shifting what needs to be shifted, which is that we are afraid of ourselves. We're afraid of our own heritage. We're afraid of how we look at the world, right? And so you have to, when you're being authentic, you have to be okay with scaring people, pissing people off, like you're saying, just making people uncomfortable, because the truth in the beginning is uncomfortable. It feels uncomfortable. It feels new because it's something that you've not been doing for a long time. So the more you do it, the more you own it, the more it becomes comfortable, and you eventually get every other person on board. So I was telling him, but I'm gonna keep doing it, and I'm gonna even get louder because I want to piss you guys off, to be uncomfortable until you hear what I'm saying. Because if I do that, I'm going to give you permission to do the same with yourself, whatever that is, whatever truth you want to go out in the world, you would do, because someone else is doing the same, owning that truth, you know?
Yeah. Actually, to be honest with you, Joy, it takes a high level of awareness and maturity to engage with someone of your caliber, especially because of how we have been conditioned.
Mm.
And the truth, I think this summit is not gonna attract a high number of people just because of that.
Mm.
Because there is that ancestral healing and all of those things in it. I felt it, and I think I even had have something to prove it. So someone who had opted in, because I sent out an email in my mailing list, and so some people opted in from there. So today I received a message from one of them, and he's saying, you know, Hannah, I saw your email, I opted in, but I realized that I'm too busy. I don't have time to watch the live stream. So can you remove my name from the list and from the Facebook? So for me as a coach, I know that the reason why she wants to unsubscribe is not because she's busy.
Mm.
Busy for the rest of your life. If you are busy this week, then when you have time the other week, you listen to the recordings. And I explained that if you can't watch them live, then we will send you the link, you will watch it at a later time. So because I know the person, I know her belief system. So what came to my mind is, okay, I think when she read it and she started seeing these ancestral things, she realized that no, this is not godly. And so she decided to unsubscribe. So I told her, no, you didn't subscribe to my mailing list. You subscribe directly to the host mailing list, but there should be a place in the email where you can unsubscribe, and you can go to the Facebook group and press exit the group, and you'll be out.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I expect resistance, you know, and I used to be afraid of it. I used to sugarcoat it, make it nicer. But because we're speaking about authenticity, I realized that if I work with someone who is currently still afraid of this and they are not open to consider new meaning to what this means and how this will work, then I will not be able to help them in my best ability, because my ability is within this realm, right? So I will be doing you a disservice if I help you halfway. I help you at
Yeah.
your level, you know, and I had to do that shift of realizing that the more you are your true self, even if it's high quality or whatever it is that is outside other people's understanding, when you reduce your vibration to the level that you think people need you to be at, even I don't care who they are, they will feel that, they will know that, and you cannot have a normal, healthy connection, deep connection, because someone is not that be that yourself. And so you also cannot meet me there because I'm not in alignment with myself. But I do this on purpose because then you don't have to come here, and it's okay. But I'm planting seeds, you know.
Yeah.
One day
Yeah.
you open yourself to that. So she will.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly true. Because once you know, you stand on your truth. Really, everything that you are doing, you want to align to that truth. So that even for me, the way that I do my work, the way that I share my marketing is so authentic that it's meant to rub other people the wrong way so that they don't join my programs. So it's intentional. It is crafted to attract people who are ready to face their truth, who are ready to engage in courageous conversations, and to push out those who still wants to hide and who wants to sugarcoat things, who wants to continue wearing that mask that they put on themselves. So normally people say, why are you saying this? So I do it deliberately. I wear what I want to wear. I share the things that I want to do so that it eliminates people who have a different energy vibration. You should let them just go away and only retain people who have the right energy vibration, who are supported there. So
Yeah.
not be authentic. They still want to attract people who are not ready to enter into that space of truth.
Mm. And your mission in life is to be your authentic self and allow every other person who resonates with that to come into your own energy field.
Exactly.
You know, so
Exactly.
that's the end result. But this has been such a powerful conversation. I'm having so much fun, but I think we're going to be 2 hours now.
Yeah, so we should round it up.
Yeah, there's so much to explore with authenticity. It's really
Yeah, you should round it up. But let me say that. So I always tell people that I stand for authenticity so much that I know that authenticity doesn't mean that you are perfect. Aware that I have my shortcomings and I have my strength, but I really stand for authenticity that sometimes I don't even need to talk about it. I live it. So I said, some of the things that I do to give people who have been conditioned permission to become themselves. So I said, I don't keep my short hair when everyone is wearing their wigs and doing what, because that's a part of that. I can still rock my gray hair without trying to dye it. If I dye, I just want to change things up. It's not that I'm trying to hide it. I can always walk with my beard. My husband is the one who cuts it, because that's who I am. I didn't choose to have this.
Yeah.
So it's really stepping up the way that I am embracing every part of me, even the one that other people think that is not normal or is not okay, so that I give people permission to know that, you know,